Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another show of Millennial Money Mastery. I'm your host, Angel Abundance, the financial physician, along with my co-hosts, Alex and Melissa. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Doing great.
Yeah, it's been a good few weeks. Took a couple of breaks. We've all been working on some stuff, trying to grow our businesses and everything. So we're back to give you guys another great show. We have some great tips for you guys today. We're going to talk about starting a business. So hopefully, maybe you're out there, maybe you're thinking about it. Melissa, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, it's 2022, right? Everyone is tired of working the 9 to 5. Everybody just wants to do something on their own, especially with how the financial situation, the economy is going right now. People are just tired of living paycheck to paycheck. So they're trying to look for new ways to make money, be that entrepreneur, be the person you want to be that, leave that legacy you want to leave for your family and future generations. And they found that right now, the only way to really do it is starting a business. And I mean, to be completely honest with you, 2022, it's been a lot of changes, especially after post-COVID and inflation and like the recession, everything that's pretty much is going on. The best opportunity right now people are taking is to really just start your own business and make passive income any way possible, and just starting with that simple step. So definitely here today to talk about how we are going to show you the steps to think about on how to start your business, why to start your business, and definitely becoming in that right mindset on how to start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely something that we should all be mindful of, um, especially if you're trying to accomplish certain things in your life. You have some major goals. You could just be an employee or whatever, but you're never really gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
you're always limited. You're always gonna be capped if you're working hourly and things like that. But when you start your own business, when you're your own boss, the sky's the limit. I mean, you have
Yeah.
full potential.
Game
You can
changer.
do whatever you want. And I think we all agree the thing that probably called us to business more than anything was just freedom, right? Not having to
Yeah.
answer to somebody. I think that for me was like the biggest thing. Like I didn't want to keep making, people rich, like off of my work. Like I wanted to do my own thing. If I'm going to put in, countless amounts of hours, I want it to be benefiting me and my family,
Yeah.
so. All right. So now starting a business, there's a lot of things that I don't think people really consider. If you really want to be a business person, an entrepreneur, you have to be aware of some key things that you're going to have to do. And you may not need to do them all right away when you first get started, or to even get started. You don't have to do these things. But if you want to start to progress and you really want to turn it into a full-fledged business, these tips, these strategies that we're going to talk about are super critical. Okay. Eventually you will have to do this. You're going to hire someone to help you with it, or you're going to have to figure it out on your own and do it. But one thing I do want to say before we get started is, if you have an idea and you think you want to do it, you don't have to wait. You should just start taking steps to get started. But one of the very first things that I want to talk about, you want to make sure that you have the right mindset. This is so important. Before you do anything, you have to have a right mindset. And this goes with any type of goal or objective that you're trying to accomplish in life, but specifically for starting a business. Because one thing that I know for sure from personal experience starting multiple businesses is it gets hard. And at first you could be super excited, super, just like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then reality will set in, the motivation goes away, and it starts to kill your drive and your motivation. So you have to have the right mindset going into it, that it's going to take time, it's going to take work, and you're just going to have to keep going. Even if you don't see profit right away, sometimes it may take years of you working and barely making it, maybe even having to, put money out of pocket, investing out of your own dollars, as well as your time. But there is no such thing as overnight success. A lot of times you see people out there, you're right, that you see them like, man, they made it. All of a sudden they're blowing up, but you didn't see all the years that it took, for them to get to where they're at right now. Right.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like you guys follow people, I'm sure that, you see them all successful, but it's been years, right?
It's been years. Yeah. You just got to look back and look at their history, and they've been doing it for 2-3 years. They just got until they were successful is when they really blew up on social media. But they don't blow up when it's during the progress. So that's something to take into account. Behind the doors, you're gonna work hard for it. They won't see the success, or they won't celebrate the success until you've actually gotten there. So it
That's
takes
right.
time.
So true, so true. Um, Alex, what do you think for you when you started your business? What was like probably the one thing from a mindset perspective that like helped you break through, just decide, okay, we're doing this? Like,
I think a big breakthrough for me, or a big mindset change, was just it actually happened at work, at my 9 to 5. I was just at work, and it kind of just hit me, and I just sat down and thought, like, what am I gonna provide for my family? Is where I'm at right now? Is this what's gonna provide for my family in the future? Take my kids to school, take my school to pay for their college, and for my family, provide for my family, especially my, that's like the main goal, like my family in the future. I'm thinking about that, even though we're not thinking of having kids soon. It's just thinking about the future. And I just thought, like, is this 9 to 5 gonna, even if I get dollar raise, $5 raise, $10 raise, it's still not gonna be enough, because everything goes up. The inflation, kicks everybody's butt, and gas goes up. We've seen that gas go up, milk goes up, everything goes up. So that's where it kind of, my mindset kind of just changed, big time, just because I was doing the same routine every single day, and it just hit me, and I was like, if I do the same thing all the time, every single day, is this gonna get me
yeah, and
anywhere?
that's a key thing, right? Especially if you're an employee right now, and you just find yourself in the rat race. You're on the wheel, just doing it over and over again, but you're expecting different results. You're expecting to get rich or whatever, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. It's like, no, you got to do something different. So I think that's a key thing, for mindset, is first deciding, like, okay, I'm going to do something, right? And a lot of times people stop themselves, right, because of beliefs, right? Limiting beliefs. You don't believe you're good enough. You don't believe you have the talent. You don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. You make, and really what it is excuses, right? You try to prevent yourself from getting started, because the one thing that people fear the most is failure.
No.
And so it's like, man, I feel like if I do this, I'm going to fail. I may not work out. My family's going to make fun of me, blah, 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 whatever it is. But all you're doing is just putting your fears ahead of you and saying, I'm afraid of failing, so I'm not even going to get started. Well, there's the saying that I always like, I think I heard Kobe say, but you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Right. So when we're talking about mindset, number one, probably the first thing you're going to have to do is just get over the fact that you will fail. You're going to fail no matter what. You're going to fail. And now the business itself may not fail, but there may be circumstances, certain things that you try that don't work out. But that's okay. That's okay, because that's part of the process. So we're talking about step one, starting business. You want to make sure you get your mind right. You want to know that it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough, but you have to believe that you can do it. You have to have the faith that it's going to work out in the end. All my effort is going to pay off. It may take years, but I'm willing to do it. And if you don't believe that you're going to succeed in this business, you shouldn't even start it, because it has to start there. You have to have the mindset that I can do this. I'm going to do it, and it will work out. I'm going to be successful no matter what. Nothing's going to stop me. No one's going to stop me. I'm going to learn whatever I need to learn. I'm going to learn new skills. I'm going to do whatever I have to do, but I'm going to succeed. And once you get to that point, then you're going to, you should, then you're go ahead, go do it, because there's nothing that's going to stop you. You already have that mentality. I'm going into it that I'm going to be successful.
Wow. You're already motivating me to start a new business.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I can do it.
And we're going to talk about that, because you do have some ideas, right, of new business and stuff. So
definitely,
do you want to share that now, or do you want to talk about it a little bit later?
I'll leave it as like a teaser.
Okay. All right. She's
later.
teasing you guys. All right. So one of the things I want to talk about for mindset is this concept of the imposter syndrome. Okay. A lot of times, even though you might believe that you can do it, you may not get started, or you may not start to take more risks or take certain actions because you feel you're not good enough. I think for me, when I started teaching people about finances, I was still in debt. I had just, I've gone a few months. I was already paying off some things, we had a plan and was working out, but I didn't feel like I was ready to start teaching others about finances. But I read a book, and it kind of talked about that you have to just understand that you're already ahead of the game. You're already having some success, and whatever that is, let's say like working out or things like that, right? Like you may have already some good tips or whatever, but you may not feel that you're ready to start teaching someone else about it. But you just have to believe that or understand that you're already ahead of someone else. You already might be in step 2 when they're still at step 0. That means you can teach them how to get to step 1. And then in the meantime, you're going to be getting into step 3, step 4, whatever it is. So you're always going to be ahead of the curve, right? So that's really, you just have to understand that if you have something that you want to do, as long as you have some general understanding or talent or product or whatever it is, you can do it. You don't have to already be a success in order to start teaching other people about this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
all right. So mindset is step number 1. You have to get in the right mindset. Once you believe that you can do it, then you're ready to go. You're ready to rock and roll. One of the things, though, I think a lot of people struggle with is they might want to start a business, but they might not know what kind of business, right? Maybe some people do. They might have an idea. Maybe they've been thinking about some things. But what would you say, Alex, is step 2, right? When you're thinking about a business, starting a business, like what is it?
For step 2, I think a big major part would be being passionate in your business. Because I feel like that's a really big one, because a lot of people, they see, oh, this guy does real estate. He gets, so much money. He makes a lot of money. I want to do real estate. But most people, they do it and they find out a year or 2 years later, they're like, oh, man, I don't really like what I do. Like, I make a lot of money, but I'm not happy. And a lot of wealthy people, I've seen a lot of people that have money and they're not happy. Because they're not passionate of what they do. That's why it's always, if you love to do something, obviously first things first, obviously make sure that it's profitable, that you'll make a good amount of income out of that. But also just that you have maybe a little bit of talent. Like, maybe if you, let's say you like playing sports like soccer, basketball, and if you have talent since you were born, you love playing it and you have a lot of talent, maybe go for that. But really being passionate for what you love to do is really important. Especially, imagine you're loving what to do, you do it every single day, and you're able to provide for your family, for your family, not even just your wife or your kids, your parents. It's just a great feeling. And at the same time doing what you love. That is the most amazing feeling. Just doing the combination of the both, the passion and being able to provide for your family is like to me, it's just a really good feeling.
That's
It's a
right.
blessing.
There's no
To
greater
have you that.
sense of fulfillment, right? When you're doing something that you love to do, when you're doing something that hopefully you are somewhat good at it, or you have some product that you know is really beneficial for somebody, and if you can get paid doing it, like, you just feel so good about yourself. Like, man, I'm helping people, I'm doing something I love, right? I'm making money, I'm providing for my family, or whatever it is, accomplishing whatever goals that you have financially or whatever. Dude, if you can get all that, that's like the pinnacle. That's like the climax, let's call it. But super, super important. I think you talk about that, right? You have to be passionate about whatever you do. I think a lot of people are stuck in jobs that they hate doing. They don't have any real passion for it. Like, maybe at one point they did, or the company has a good mission statement and like you're contributing, but that only goes so far, right? And if you can find something to do that you're truly, truly passionate about, that you have a purpose, right? And you're doing it, and you can find so much fulfillment in that. A lot of what I teach and I have a book coming out, and just a shameless plug right now. It's called the Alpha Plan, and it talks about that you should have passion. You should be pursuing something that you're really passionate about, that you have purpose. You have, I call it being mission minded. So when you're serving people and you're bringing a product or service or whatever it is to the market that you know is beneficial to others, then that's going to be very fulfilling for you. If you're doing just the odd job, like, let's just say, and I'm not knocking anyone who's doing this, but let's just say you're a cashier at Walmart or something. Like, what true purpose are you really filling? And you might you're just maybe a cheerful person. You like talking to people. Okay, whatever. Make the best of that situation. Be the best cashier that Walmart has ever seen, right? Have that kind of self-respect that you're going to do the best at that job. But it could probably get to a point where you're just not feeling fulfilled, right? Because you're not really fulfilling a major purpose in life for it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that that's a great point. Step number 2 is to be passionate about what you're doing, right? Whether find something, some talent, some skill, something that you're genuinely good at, and then if you can somehow make money off of that, like obviously
Yeah.
that's a great thing. Yeah.
Definitely.
I've also feel like a big question to ask yourself, really important, is like the why. Like why are why are you doing that? Why are you passionate about it? Just like how I was talking about real estate, realtors. Why do they do real estate? Maybe because they love helping people find their dream home, or I watch a lot of fitness coaches on YouTube. They love fitness because they love seeing people's personal growth and them achieve goals. Like they love seeing that, love people seeing that, seeing their growth, seeing them, their health on another level. And there's plenty of the coaches. Why are you a coach? Why anything? Just always start yourself and ask that question to yourself. Just to yourself, just think about it. Why? Like start with that, just that why.
Yeah.
Um,
There's an author who I love, who I follow. If you're not guys aren't familiar with this guy, you should definitely go research his stuff. It's amazing stuff. His name is Simon Sinek, and he has a talk and turned it into a book. It's called Start with Why. If you look at big companies that have been around a long time, that are really mission driven, that have a sense of purpose greater than themselves. Just take someone like Apple, right? They're very mission minded on what they're trying to do, right? These products, whatever, that are changing, revolutionizing the world. So when you think about starting a business, you should ask yourself, like, why do I want to do this? Why do I get out of bed in the morning, right? What am I bringing to the table, right? Why am I doing this? And it could be something like, maybe because I want to make a difference in my community, or I want to help someone with their health, and I want to see people get fit and be healthy and live long and fruitful lives, or whatever it is. So you should always start with why. If you can, pick up that book, Start with Why. You can watch some of his talks. Again, his name is Simon Sinek, Sinek, but definitely want to check him out. So it's good tip there. Now, Melissa, step number 3. What would you say is step number 3 when you're thinking about starting a business?
I mean, we already went through step 1, so it's definitely have the right mindset. Step 2 is finding your why and something you're really passionate about. Now, let's say you found something you're passionate about. Now, what do you do next? So, what you do next is now you got to look at your surroundings, which meaning you have to look at your competition, right? You got to look at what's out there already. For example, I've seen a lot of girls, mainly in their young 20s. They're all very passionate about beauty. And it's no different. Everybody wears lashes, everybody does their nails, their hair. So it's a pretty good market to get into. But one thing I realized is they're passionate about it, but they're not looking at their competition. They're not looking at everybody else that's doing it as well. I know about 10 girls who do lashes. And I'm just like, oh my God, who am I going to choose? Like, I have 10 friends who do lashes. Like, I don't want to, pick one and then I leave the other ones. Like, I want to be a good friend. I want to support them. But at the same time, coming from someone who let's say you're someone who doesn't have friends and you have to choose between 10 lash technicians, who are you going to choose? And that comes down to how are you differentiating yourself from other lash technicians, right? So get a good market, you're passionate about it, but what makes you different? What's going to make people come back to you? Rather that be the type of product you use, maybe something different. It could be a different technique you use. It could be your service. It can be anything at all. So, I mean, there's so many of them, but don't really worry about your competition as to comparing yourself. Just really focus on your type of business and how you are going to differentiate yourself within others. So definitely look into that. Look into how you're going to make a difference, because that can really make or break your business as well. Either you're doing really good and everyone's going to keep coming back to you because you get something different that they're going to want to come back to that. So looking at your surroundings, definitely looking at your competition, and definitely looking on demand. Looking at what's needed out there. That maybe you do like lashes, but you know that there's not a lot of girls who do skin care, for example. Maybe you want to insert skincare instead, and that's something you're equally passionate about, but there's more demand. So now people are going to go more to that. So
Yeah, like I would be thinking like, okay, how can I tell girls about, first, maybe you need to do something about your health to have really strong lashes, to make your lashes grow or whatever, right? So I'd be thinking about stuff like that. That's important. I think doing that market research is super critical for any business. You have to understand, what your competition is like, who's like I said, the demand, like who's out there looking for your product. Maybe there's only a few people in your area that want that. Maybe that's not the best business, or maybe you need to move areas, right? If you're really passionate about the business, maybe you need to go somewhere else, some other neighborhood, some other city, or whatever it is. So, for example, like I opened this office here in Santa Ana because a lot of our agents, a lot of our market is Hispanic people, and this is like per capita one of the most densely populated Hispanic areas. So it made more sense for me to be here, and I'm still pretty close to my home or whatever else. But but that's a critical thing. There's an analogy, right? The SWOT, right? Where you're looking at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats. Like who else is out there? Like who's going to try to take your market share? Right.
You got to think about it.
So if someone's, especially like, let's say, 10 different lash technicians. A bunch of my friends, female friends from high school, they all went into beauty and health, hair, makeup, all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay, which one do I send my wife to,
Yeah.
And I like, we started with one and then she wasn't there. And then, okay, I sent it to another. But it's like figuring out, okay, who, maybe there's 10 of you in the same location, and like those, they have like the ones where you just rent like a little room, right?
Yeah.
What if someone starts offering like bigger deals or whatever? So if there's too much competition, like you could get priced out, right? Especially for someone that's already established and has good clientele and you're just starting out. So I think that's really important to understand, your competition, who's out there.
Yeah, that's a big point. Also, what I was thinking about too is, I was telling him about it. Like, I have so many people who do it, but I don't see, one thing I don't see with these lash technicians is they don't insert another service. Like, how cool would it be? This is profit for you guys. This is a tip for you guys now. But how cool would it be if, me personally, I would love to do my lashes and my eyebrows at the same time. Like, if a lash technician learned how to thread eyebrows or wax eyebrows, like 2 in 1, and we're in the same position too, so you don't really lose that much time. Like, I'd probably choose with her.
You're already there. Do one in shot and like do both and do like pricing deals or something for both. Yeah.
Yeah, like a bundle or something, like a one-stop shop. Like that would be so much better than having to drive to an appointment and drive to another appointment. Like we save time. So look into it.
Yeah, and that's a concept too that we had with our financial business. It's the one-stop shop. It's like, okay, I have financial courses, help people get out of debt, invest and all that stuff, crypto. But then like, okay, well, we also offer real estate services. We also offer funeral services. So that's kind of the idea, is like, why go to a real estate agent over here and an insurance person over there and a financial coach over there? It's like, have it all in one location, make it super easy and convenient for the person, so that number one, you already built that relationship. You have trust. I understand them, their goals, their objectives, so I can easily help them with these other ancillary services that can help them meet those goals and objectives.
Yeah, that way you don't have to like re-explain your situation to every single person.
Exactly.
Right? It's just like they know me already. So
super critical there. So I like that. Do your market research, super important, right? So mindset, being passionate about something, find something you're passionate about, and do the research before you get started. Alex, what do you think is step number 4? What is another great tip when you're thinking about starting a business? Something else that people need to do?
I think for step number 4, a big one, it's kind of like a 2-in-1, would be like starting a business plan and a business structure. Like 2-in-1. So I feel like that's really important because, before you start a business, you have to have something written down. Have to have some kind of plan, like what am I going to do? What are you going to do to start this? Because if you just go into, okay, I'm just going to buy this, I'm going to buy this office, and okay, what are you going to do next? Like what are your steps to get to where you want to be, your goals? Also, when you do your business plan, you also have to know what business you're in. You get to know, like, the regulations. Like if you're in food, I didn't know this, but if you want to cook, like if you want to make a meal or you want to start a little cooking food business in your home, if it's dairy, you can't do it. It has to be at a facility, and I didn't know that. That kind of blew my mind. I was like, okay, that's good to know. And just knowing the tax laws as well. Tax laws for what you're going to be doing. Like if you're going to have an office, okay, how much are they going to charge you, for your taxes or anything that you're going to be buying? Kind of structure out that. And then also permits.
Yeah,
Also-
yeah. I mean, you never know, right? Different city codes or state codes or whatever could have different types of requirements for the type of business that you want to do.
Yeah.
Like for us, we're like life insurance agents, right? We had to go and get a life insurance license from the state of California, right? And that license doesn't work in any other state. It's only for
It's only
California. So if you want to sell, insurance in other states, you have to get a license in those states as well.
Yeah.
So, but that's important too, right? Like the business structure. When you're thinking about a business plan, it's super important that you have a business plan, that you think about, who you're like, what your business is going to be about, have a description, have a mission statement, value statement, thinking about the products or services that you're going to sell. And thinking about like, what does each of those products entail? Like, do I have to go buy it from someone? So, okay, I'm going to need capital to buy this product. And then how much can I sell it for?
Mhm.
Right. So understanding like your operating costs and things like that, which we're going to talk about the finances, but your business plan should have all of this written out. And because let's say you get to a point where you maybe want to go find, investors, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to go find a VC, right? A venture capitalist firm, and you got to go pitch your idea. All of them are going to want to see your business plan. They're all going to want to know, okay, what's your break even point, right? Where is your customers? Like, where are your customers? Who's your ideal customer? That kind of stuff. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But your business plan should have all of this written out. And it should also, you have to understand what kind of a business structure are you going to have, right? Are you going to be maybe a sole proprietorship? Are you going to be an LLC? You're going to be a S Corp, C Corp? All of that is going to have different things you're going to have to research and do to understand like what is going to be the best thing for your business, right? For us, like being independent, financial, consultants and stuff, there's not a lot. We don't need to be a corporation. We don't need any of that stuff. We don't have any physical products that we need to sell or anything like that. So our startup costs are really low. Our operating costs are really low unless you have an office or something like that. But these are things that you should be asking yourself, right? Maybe your business needs to have a brick and mortar. You need to have a location, a physical location to sell your thing, right? So all of that costs stuff. All of that takes more effort. So you should know what that's going to look like. Or like you said, like if you're going to have a food-based business and you're going to do it from home, right? And there are laws now that you can do like a cottage food business from your home, but you should know like what the regulations are, right? There's still regulations. You still have to make sure that your stuff is clean. You might still have to get health department to come in and certify your stuff is clean and grade you and whatnot. So there's a lot of little nuances depending on the type of business that you're going to start. So really good stuff there. Anything to add to that, Melissa? No, you're all good. You're good. Alex, anything else on that?
No, on that one, no.
Okay.
Four,
So
four.
definitely want to have a business plan, and you don't need to have it all figured out. You may not even know how to write one. There's a lot of tips and tricks out there. You can go to the Small Business Administration, the SBA from the government. They have a bunch of tools. And when I first started one of my first businesses, they have this mentorship program. The SBA offers this. It's called SCORE, and they will pair you with someone who's been in business already, and they kind of are like your mentor. And they walk you through like doing the market research, setting up a business plan, everything else. So that was really helpful for me, right? Because I had always done little small side hustle businesses, but never nothing professional, like really trying to grow something. So I went through that. I had a mentor that walked me through these things. So that was really beneficial. So there are a lot of resources out there. You don't, just because you don't have the information or you're not sure, you can go do that research yourself and you can find a mentor. YouTube has a bunch of information out there. I'm sure you can find stuff, videos and things like that about how to do a good business plan. So don't be afraid to admit that you don't know and but then go research and go figure that out.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about finances. Alex, what's the next step? What would you say is step 5 when you're talking about a business? What's probably one of the most important thing other than mindset?
The 5th step would be most important would be finances. So your finances always really big one would be your profit margin. Just seeing how much, let's say you're selling something for $50 and it costs you $20. How much profit see how much profit you're making out of it. And then within that, you have to learn know if you're actually breaking even. So when you're doing your finances, I would say probably like write down like a plan. And if you're planning on renting a space, and obviously when you rent a space, you also got to think about your electricity bill, your water, all your if you need internet, your internet, how much internet provider you're gonna be using, and then so with that being said, so if you make takes you $20 to make something, and you're selling it for 50, that's a $30 profit. Now, how many of that product, how many of those is it going to take to, take break even with your expenses that you have for your office and everything? So you got to actually think about that too. So you have to think about how many of these do I have to sell so I can actually be profitable and actually be making income, to provide and for all your kind of got mixed
Yeah.
up for your expenses.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's super important. Like you have to know how much money's coming in. You have to know how much it's going to cost. This goes even just for your personal finances too, right? You should understand like, okay, maybe it's a business where you have to buy a physical product. So one, you have to have capital to buy that product to determine like, okay, where can I get the best price? Where can I get the best product? Whatever it is, maybe they have options, right? Maybe I can get the cheap one, but I know it's not going to be the best thing. So maybe I got to spend more to get a better product. But now I know I'm going to have to maybe sell it for more. All right. Or you know what? I'd rather sell it for the same amount as my competitor, but I know I have the better product. And then figure out like exactly how many sales you're going to have to do to cover all your expenses and then to actually start pulling profit and taking some money home, right? An actual paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's an important point you say. Like in the beginning, you might not make as much profit as you want to,
Right.
but I mean, if you just break even and just slowly upgrade, then you'll start seeing that profit. So it goes hand in hand with the beginning, the mindset. Maybe you won't make profit as much as you expected, but it's gonna take time. And with reference and good services, I mean, you'll see the difference.
Yeah, no, that's so true. So I'll say your finances are super, super important. You at least understand them. You have to know what you're getting into. You have to know what it's going to take. Let's say, and nowadays, like there's a lot of ways that you can try to minimize your expenses and stuff. Like let's take Amazon FBA, right? So you selling things on Amazon. If you don't know, most of the stuff that you buy on Amazon is being sold by people just like you and me.
Yeah.
Right? They source the product, some cheap product from China or wherever, and then they, tack some margin to it, and then they sell it to you, right? And then they market it or whatever it is. But they're out there buying the stuff from like Alibaba or something super cheap. They ship it directly to Amazon, to an Amazon warehouse, and Amazon fulfills it for them. So if you see like Amazon Prime, stuff like that, a lot of those times, like it is someone like us selling it, but Amazon is the one that's packaging it and shipping it out through their whole distribution network. So maybe you have to give up a little bit of your profit to do that, but that eliminates you having to literally stuff envelopes or stuff boxes with this product or shipping a bunch of stuff to your home and doing that. So you got to be thinking about those types of things too, right? How can you automate some of the stuff? How can you, even though it may cost you a little bit more, or you give up some of your margin for it, but it will make your life a lot more stress-free.
They do all the work for you, basically.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So, so don't think that you have to actually, purchase a bunch of stuff, have it at your house, and then you're the ones actually shipping it out and whatever else. So, like right now, I'm starting a publishing business. I've written 2 books. They're about to be published and ready to be sold. But think about it, like all it really took for me was just writing it out, and I paid for an editor to help me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell it through Amazon. They will print on demand. So someone orders the book, they want a physical copy of the book. Amazon prints it as you order it, and then they ship it to you. So I have no inventory. I don't have to go and buy a bunch of books, have them printed or whatever. Yeah. I can self-publish. I don't need to go try to get me a book deal from a publisher. So I'm trying to minimize my overhead costs by going this route and doing self-publishing, right? So, that's some way like that. I'm proving these types of strategies for you guys. I'm doing it myself. But that's the easiest way. I didn't want to, have to like try to take all this time trying to find a publishing deal and sending my, manuscript out and trying to get someone to say yes. And I don't want to have to buy a bunch of books. Let's say I try to publish myself. I'm just going to use tools like Amazon to do this, right? So,
Wow.
We'll see how it goes.
The power of the internet, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazon's really
everything
changing the
is.
game out here.
They are, and
Yeah.
they're taking over for sure. They're taking over. Let's talk a little bit about so step 5. Finances. Make sure you
Mhm.
understand your finances. Make sure you know what it's going to take. I do not recommend that you go into debt to do this, but
Yeah.
it's hey, you do you. You do what makes sense for you and your family. But if you can figure out a way, what, I'm going to save up some of the money. I'm going to have some capital to invest, and then that way I can at least just get started and not have to owe anybody, right? Because
Yeah.
if you go into a business with debt, it's going to be a lot harder for you because now the profit that you could be taking home, it actually has to go to pay
To
that debt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just be careful with that. Do what makes the most sense for you and your family. So, all right. So let's talk about one of the last things when you're thinking about starting your business. Melissa, what would you say is a good next step?
Definitely look at who you're selling to, right? I mean, like you with your book, I'm pretty sure you thought about this already. Like, who do you want to read your book? Who are you targeting? And I really liked how you took the Amazon route. You could have done paper copy,
Mhm.
but that's not who you're marketing,
That's
right?
right.
You're marketing younger people, younger entrepreneurs who have faith, and they really want to get out there and make a difference. So you're targeting digitally, Amazon,
right.
which is where all the young people are. Everything they buy on Amazon, even like toilet paper, they were buying from Amazon.
Exactly.
So
And the other thing too is
yeah,
I'm making it an audiobook. Like,
audio. That's the
because
new
most
thing
people
now.
now are
Yeah,
doing audiobooks. They're
Audio.
stuck in traffic. Let's face it, here in California,
yeah,
stuck in traffic for 2 hours a day kind of thing. Most people are doing audiobooks, right?
yes,
So that is another strategy. Again, it doesn't cost me anything. Luckily, I have the equipment. I can record it myself. But now I don't even need a physical book to be printed. It's just download it and there you go.
Yeah.
Audible accounts or whatever
Yeah.
it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, especially for young people right now. I mean, they're doing multiple things at once. They're cooking and have an AirPod in their head. I mean, I've seen workers already. They have AirPods in there and while they're working. So
Mhm.
that's really good. That's really good market, and that's a really good observation. So definitely look at who you're marketing to, your market audience. Who are you going to sell your products to or give your services to? Who is your ideal client? Like if
Mhm.
you're gonna choose someone, this is specifically for young entrepreneurs from their 20s to 35s maybe, who just have some struggles right now and they want to open a business, but they're really strong in faith and they believe in the word. So you definitely have your audience very niche down to who exactly are the ones that are going to be getting your products, buying them, and promoting those for you. And with that being said, I mean, that also includes on where you're marketing to, right? So if we're going through like millennials, for example, and the younger ages, you're going to be marketing this digitally, right? You're not going to be doing a newspaper, using printed books. You're going to be doing everything digitally. That's Amazon, that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, even. You're going to be marketing yourself and your product with your business in those specific areas, right? So social media for sure.
Yeah, I'd say, having your marketing strategy,
Mm-hmm.
having a marketing strategy is super important, right? And it could be progressive where I'm going to start here, start to build that out, and then I'm going to move into this, right? I'm going to
Yeah.
move into content creation, using social media, the right social media platforms. And you don't have to do them all, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Stick with one. Pick Twitter, pick Instagram, pick TikTok, pick whatever, pick YouTube, but master one and then move on to the next one, right? But have some sort of a digital media, social media marketing strategy. You said something that is super important: the ideal client, niche
Mm-hmm.
down.
Yeah.
You when you think about that, you have to understand how to market your product, like the marketing message. Um, you have to be
Yeah.
very very distinct. We were talking, I think, a few weeks back about a book that I read that really helped me out called Story Brand, Creating Your Story Brand by Donald Miller. You guys should check that out. And when you're thinking about how you want to present this product, service, whatever it is, how you talk about your product, how you position your product in the market, in the mind of your customer, look, there's 7+ billion people in the world, right? You might say, well, my product's good for everybody, right? It's like, okay, yeah, but you're not going to all of a sudden market to some broad general audience. If you really want to like boost your sales fast, you have to niche down.
Most
You have to
definitely. Yeah.
pick who your ideal client. You might say, okay, 25 to 35-year-old males making over 100,000. They're married, they have a kid, blah 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 blah. Be very specific.
Yeah.
One of the first early mentors that I had in business, that was one of the first exercises that we went through, is to try to identify your ideal client, what are their interests? What are their fears? Like, what keeps them up at night? Like, why is your product going to help them? Like, what is the solution that your product brings to their lives? And you have to try to put yourself in their shoes. So now when you create your marketing message, you're targeting them specifically, right?
Yeah.
So it's super important. I think a lot of people miss that. They think, oh, I'm just going to sell it to everybody. And it's like, no, dude. Like, yes, eventually you could get there, but start small, start niche down so that you can try to like make your marketing message be as effective as possible. Right. So you're not spending money, especially if you start putting ads out there in social media. You don't want to waste money. This is your hard-earned dollars that you're investing in your business. It better give you the most return, right? So if you niche down, then your marketing message could be very specific and it could be very targeted. And so you're gonna, every dollar that you're putting into your marketing is gonna come back. It's gonna be returned X fold, right? So super, super important. I like where you're going with that. TikTok. What do you think about TikTok and marketing right now? It seems like that's where everyone is.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of crazy because you can find anything on TikTok now. I mean, everyone's marketing everything. They're marketing hair, they're marketing businesses, they're marketing food recipes, they're marketing literally dancing. Like, it's weird how it all started with dancing and now people are making millions off just TikTok. It's crazy.
I remember my little teeny bopper girls, you know, when they were younger. It used to be Musically, right?
Yes.
And then branched out, but everyone was doing their dances and copying everyone else and stuff like that. And I saw it right away. And I told the girls, I was like, you guys need to be the ones creating the dances or make something up or whatever so that you can build your brand or whatever. People start to follow you and whatnot. So it's amazing how much has developed and matured over the past, you know, few years. But it is a Chinese product. So you got to be careful out there. Just, you know, throwing that out there. But look, the thing about marketing and marketing strategy, and this goes along with your business plan and the finances and everything else, your market research, all that, right? You see how it all kind of progresses and it goes together. But your marketing strategy is so important because ultimately it all has to lead to a sale.
Yes.
It has to lead to a sale. Yes. And if your business takes, you know, where you actually have to talk to someone to sell them this product, you yourself have to be versed on how to sell it. So, you know, your marketing strategy should also include how you present it, like what you need to say, not say, how to say it. When you talk to certain people, okay, when I talk to this type of client, I need to talk to them this way. I need to understand what motivates them. How do I get them into that emotional state of where they need to purchase, where they feel like they have to have my product. And ultimately it comes down to sales, revenue. And that's how you're going to be able to do the rest of your finances to break even and turn a profit, right? So all your marketing strategy and everything you do, ultimately remember that it has to lead to a sale, right? And hopefully you're providing a good service, a good product that people are going to want to buy what you have. Right. Yeah. So
definitely
don't take shortcuts. Don't take shortcuts with your product too, by the way. Do the best for your clients, give a good service. Because ultimately you said something earlier, it's all about also that repeat business, referrals, right? If you give good service and you have a great product, people are more than likely going to recommend you, right?
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask for referrals. Don't forget to ask for reviews. Hey, can you guys review me on social media, on Yelp or whatever it is? Because that's how people are going to find you, right? And by word of mouth and other people say, oh, hey, look, this you know, product has, you know, 2,000 reviews and there's 4 stars. Like ultimately when I shop, that's what I look at.
Yeah. How many reviews?
How many reviews and what it is, right? If something has 5 stars, but it's only 2 reviews, I'm not so sure about that. I don't want to be the guinea pig. Like I'm going to find the one that maybe has 4 stars with 5,000 reviews. Okay. The majority of people like this product. That's probably the one I'm going to go with.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So good stuff. So starting a business, you know, ultimately I think starting a business can be very fulfilling. It could help you with your life and your finances, your goals, or you're trying to accomplish. Maybe it doesn't have to be full-time right away, right? It could start out as a side hustle, just doing things, you know, part-time in the evenings, on the weekends, while you have your normal day job or whatever it is. But don't be afraid to start. If you really feel passionate about what you're doing, if you know you're able to succeed, you believe that you can, and you've done the research and everything else, then start. Like, do something, take action. Like, people that take action are the ones that succeed. If you just sit around and think, oh, one day I'm going to do this. I don't know. I've looked in the calendar. I've looked everywhere. I have never seen one day on the calendar. So one day doesn't exist. It needs to be today. I'm doing this thing. So anyways, get started. Anything else? Any closing thoughts?
My only closing thought is there is no overnight success. Just put that in your head. Like, you're not gonna. It's not a get rich
Get it
scheme
quick.
right away. Like in a couple of days. There's no overnight success. It's gonna take hard work and dedication to do it. But at the end of the day, at the end, it's gonna be worth your while.
Yeah.
You're really gonna be. You're gonna look back those 2, 3, 4, 5 years that you were working your butt off every single day, and you're gonna thank yourself for it.
Yeah.
Honest, you will.
Yes. I mean, not only that, but if you think about it, we have it so much easier than entrepreneurs in the past. We have so many resources, so many people who've done it, who are willing to teach you, go through the mistakes, just like our coach Angel has. Like, he's been through it. There's people out there to help you. So if you think about it, we have it really easy. So do not get scared of failure. If anything, it's good to fail. Don't be scared of it. Want to fail, because that's how you're literally going to learn. That's how you're going to overpass your mistakes, and that's how you'll succeed.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that 100%. You know, especially like in our business with finances, you're going to get a lot of no's, especially if you're trying to sell something and people don't buy it right away. Just like learn to love the no's.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm like starting to understand now, new people that are coming in the business, like I'm going to tell them, like, your goal is to get 1,000 no's. I want you to go out there and get 1,000 people to tell you no, because eventually you're going to get the one person that says yes.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid of that rejection. Like, and people see as, oh, I couldn't make the sale and I failed. It's like, no. You learned, right? You need to take that as a learning experience. And every no is one step closer to yes, to making a sale, to making a profit, to having money in your pocket. So don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of the no's, because ultimately it should be counted as a lesson, right? You're just learning how not to do it, or learning how not to speak, or how not to say, how not to present this, or whatever it is. So, but that's super important. You guys just be out there, be people of action. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to get started. Don't be afraid if you don't have all the answers or don't know everything. You just have to be one step ahead of the people you're trying to help, right? Especially if you're teaching a course or something like that. So I hope you guys are out there getting inspired. If you need help, you need a coach, you need someone, we're available. You can find us on all the social medias right there. Look for us, search for us, follow us on YouTube, follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, whatever it is. And we want to hear from you. If you have an idea or you need help, or maybe you found some of this information valuable, put a comment down below, because we want to hear from you. We read all the comments. We will respond if it makes sense. And maybe you have other tips, throw them down there. Maybe we can make another one, follow up on what comes after you get started. What are some other things to think about? And, make sure you like this video, share it with someone like who's maybe thinking about starting a business, and smash that bell, because, we don't have a consistent, schedule when we're putting stuff out. So smash that bell so you get notified whenever we put out a new video. Anything else?
Nope.
No, stay tuned.
All right, good. Take care, everybody. Again, this is Millennial Money Mastery, helping you guys master the game of money. And take care, everybody. Peace out.
All right. Later.